Let's spend a few minutes talking about a topic that is very closely related to market planning and analysis. That is market opportunity analysis. It's the key to all entrepreneurial activity and is also very, very important for any marketing decision makers who have to make decisions about new product development, new products, new services, and new experiences. You really can't be a successful entrepreneur without a thorough understanding of market opportunity analysis. I'm reminded of a story about my friends at my local barber shop, which is located roughly in the area of Tropicana and Boulder Highway. I was sitting in there a few years ago getting ready to get my hair cut, and my barber's name back then was Janet. And so Janet was cutting someone else's hair, and in walked a, a young lady who her husband used to come and get haircuts there. And it was sort of like Old Home Week. They said hi to everybody, and the lady announced that her and her husband had rented one of the open units near the barber shop, and they were going to open a pizzeria. Janet was listening to this um, with some level of interest, and they were sitting there and talking a little bit. And Janet walked over to the front window where you could see out into the parking lot, and Janet said, "You know, there's a lot of uh, pizza places already around here." She said, "Look," she said, "I can see a Domino's and a Pizza Hut, and I can even see a Little Caesar's Pizza right from this window." And the people said, "I know, but we're not a chain restaurant. We're going to have better pizza than those chain restaurants have." Janet nodded her head. She said, I would think so. Yes, of course." And then Janet came back to cutting the person's hair, and Janet said, "This mall has lost its anchor tenant, which was a grocery store, and there's no real prospects for getting a new tenant to be the anchor." And she said, after the grocery store closed, the traffic in this mall, this strip mall, went down by 75%. And the people who were getting ready to open the pizza restaurant said, "Well, that doesn't really matter because, we are going to have such good pizza that people will be looking to find our restaurant." Janet said, "Okay." So the people then eventually chit-chatted a little bit more, and the wife and husband left, and Janet was standing there, and Janet looked at me, and I looked at Janet, and Janet looked at me, and of course she knew that I taught marketing at the university, and she said to me, "Well, what do you think about opening a pizza restaurant in this mall?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, I'd want to think very hard about it before I did that." She said, "You can go ahead and say it. It's not a good idea." She said, "They're gone. You don't. It doesn't matter." And in reality, what Janet was doing as these people were discussing this idea of this new pizza restaurant they were going to have in this strip mall in that particular neighborhood, Janet was sort of going through, even though she had no formal training in the topic, she was going through sort of the issues that would come up if you were doing a market opportunity analysis for opening a restaurant in that location. And so much of the idea of doing a market opportunity analysis is relatively common sense for someone who has a business background and an understanding of business. All right, so the anatomy of a market opportunity analysis, or something we typically refer to in marketing as an MOA, market opportunity analysis, is an introduction and an executive summary which describes the project or the new idea, or the particular product category that the project is in, the objectives and the strategy, the opportunities and the profit potential. And this also typically includes the idea, a complete description of the idea, the problem, or the opportunity, a goal or purpose of the product or service. For instance, some products may be in the line to create upselling opportunities. Some may be put in the line to create cross-selling opportunities, or whatever the idea might be. And then, of course, there's the big idea, the competitive advantage, the unique selling proposition, the marketing strategy and its structure. That is there a reason for customers to purchase this product? Of course, the people in the pizza business were arguing that their pizza would be so great that people would come from near and far to get pizza there. Now, the anatomy of a market opportunity now includes the same kinds of elements that we saw in a marketing plan. That is, to start with, a situation analysis. And a situation analysis includes an internal analysis. And so if it's an existing company that's thinking about a new product or a new variation on products or a new service, then the internal analysis looks a lot like the marketing plan. If it is a brand new business venture, then of course there aren't as many details available to do the internal analysis, but still the internal analysis needs to be done. That is, does the proposed products or services fit the mix of the firm? Is it a firm that can in fact make this product successful? Does it help or hurt the other products and services that the firm might have? If it's a firm without any new products, can the company successfully produce the product and services? And what is their competitive advantage? And how easy is it going to be to explain that competitive advantage? Does that competitive advantage have a moat around it? That is it a competitive advantage that they can defend over time? We then also want to know about the industry. What's the future in this industry? Is this an industry that has potential? If so, what are the trends and issues, and what is it that makes some organizations in this industry successful and others not successful? In terms of customers, the same thing that we always ask in a marketing planning activity: who are our potential customers? Is there something that these customers want? If so, who are they and what will they prefer in the product? How many customers are there? Then, of course, we want to talk about the competitive analysis. Who will we compete with? Can we compete? What makes our product special in the minds of the customer? That is, what is the element that we're going to position our product on and market against the competition? And then, of course, there's the macro environmental issues. In our case, an example of a macro environmental issue was the fact that Janet was trying to politely tell these people that this is basically a dead strip mall. That is a strip mall with very little traffic, and when there is traffic, it's to go to a very specific unit. In their particular strip mall, probably half of the storefronts are empty, with others probably likely to close in the near future. And then, of course, becomes the best way to make this idea successful. So we have an idea. The real question is, what's the best way for us to put together our resources and the 4 P's of marketing: the product, the place, the price, and the promotion, to make this idea successful? Who's the target market? What is the product exactly going to look like? What are our pricing policies going to look like? And how will we be successful with them? Promotional strategy and distribution decisions. We need to do a demand analysis. That is there a way to make sure that there is enough demand to sustain this business over time? And then, of course, we have the conclusions and the final recommendations in terms of the best way to exploit the market opportunity that we are identifying. In summary, performing market opportunity analysis is the single most important skill for both entrepreneurs and all marketing decision makers. The single most important decision that all marketers must make is, which products to offer, and how to best bring them to market to increase the likelihood of being successful and sustaining the business. So, what happened to that pizza restaurant? Well, it opened. I stopped by with my wife, and we had pizza there. The pizza was fine. It was good pizza. It wasn't worth me driving all the way over from my house to get it on a regular basis. But the restaurant stayed open for about 6 or 7 or 8 months. It closed abruptly. The people who owned the restaurant took the oven and left, of course, everything else there, and skipped out on rent payments and I'm sure back rent. Uh, and the fact is that I don't know how much money they had spent on the whole restaurant and all of their efforts, but it certainly wasn't successful. So at the end of the day, perhaps they should have at least listened to Janet as she walked through the steps associated with doing a market opportunity analysis. And it is an important skill that you, as a graduating marketing professional, need to have in your skill set. And so we will spend some time this class and this summer working on the idea of doing market opportunity analyses.